We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Tell us a little bit about your market. You're in Boston.
Yeah. But most of what I do is like Kenmore Square, Fenway, South End, Back Bay, Beacon Hill, South Boston. It's sort of like Boston proper.
Right.
But I do extend out. Now and then I'll have a buyer who comes through a friend who's looking for a single family house in, say, Dedham, and I'll take care of them and do that. And I sort of take it as it comes. And sometimes they come in and they may be an investor from Europe,
right,
who's looking to buy a portfolio, and I'll run with that. But I found over the years that I sort of got a little niche in a building called Kenmore Tower, which is over in Kenmore Square, that is a co-op.
Yeah.
And it's been a really great thing. And I think Kenmore Square is on the up.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things you mentioned, and I kind of teased it in the beginning, is the fact that this word co-op. And again, we talk a lot about it, and people that are buying in New York, and there was a recent situation, not recent, probably a couple of years ago, where a high net worth individual locally that owned some beauty salons and massage and hair stuff was trying to get no co-op and got rejected. So I want to take a couple of minutes and tell us a little bit, because there's under 10 buildings, I think you said, in Boston that are quote unquote co-ops, not condos, but co-ops. Tell us a little bit about the difference between the two.
Basically, a cooperative is a corporation. So the building itself is a corporation. And you as a buyer are buying shares of stock in that corporation. All right. And so depending on how many shares you're getting is dependent upon the size of the unit and the floor of the unit. And so then what you get is you get a multiplier. So you have like a multiplier ownership within that building. And then you're given a lease to infinity. And so, it feels like a condo once you live there.
Right.
And you get in. It's getting in, and it can be tricky. But primarily what I've found is it's a financial threshold.
So if it's a corporation, getting in is like a job interview? Is that...
Not quite.
Okay.
It feels like one. No, it's not that bad. Basically, they ask you to provide tax returns, some letters of recommendation, a personal statement on what you're going to do with the unit, and that's about it. In New York, they're very popular, and a lot of buildings in New York, they don't want ex-presidents because they don't want Secret Service people running around the building.
I think it would be pretty cool if it was me.
It wouldn't bother me. Right. But in Boston, we don't have that kind of scenario usually. So it's really financial, and some people really like it because the whole profile of the building is based on financial strength. And so as you're selling units, I've been doing it a while, so I kind of know as buyers come down the pipeline if they're going to qualify or not, and I go over all the criteria before we get going, just to make sure that, it's going to be a successful sale.
What is radon, and why do we need to get rid of it?
Radon is one of the noble gases. It's a naturally occurring element, which unfortunately can cause lung cancer. That's
second leading cause
after cigarette smoking.
Yeah,
correct. So it has to do with geology, where you are in the country. Uranium is a naturally occurring element in bedrock, ledge. Everyone knows uranium.
So we can't get rid of it, like I said, but we can.
It's everywhere, naturally occurring, and there are levels wherever you go. It's just harmful in concentrated amounts over sustained periods of time. Okay. So that's the differentiation between why is it bad in a house, and specifically in the basement, obviously. But it's a very fixable issue. It has to do with getting back to my previous point, where if a property is built on an area that has a lot of ledge, has a lot of bedrock, the likelihood of you having elevated levels are significantly higher than your next door neighbor. I mean, it's very random in that way. So We deal with in the entire state of Massachusetts. We go to the Berkshires, we go to the Cape, we go to Martha's Vineyard. It's most prevalent kind of North Shore to Worcester County. The EPA has designated different zones of likelihood. The zone 1 is Essex, Middlesex, and Worcester counties.
So if I'm a homeowner and I've been in my house for a while and I'm hearing this and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should find out if I have radon in my house. How do I find that out?
Very simple. You just run, you can do a home administered test. It's a little vial. It's called a liquid scintillation vial. It's a carbon-based test. Or you can hire a professional to do it, which is usually during a real estate transaction, which is the way people go. You'll bring in a professional, a home inspector or a dedicated testing company. They'll bring in a little digital device, which usually is put in your basement for 48 to 96 hours. You get the results back. If they're above a level of 4, that's the current EPA recommendation where you want to consider putting in a system, then you could call us for a system solution.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been in the business for quite a while, but love to hear your background and where you specialize in.
So I got into real estate in 2002. I come out of software and hardware. I did a couple of what I call dot bombs,
Sure.
as many
Absolutely.
many people did, and decided I didn't want to travel, but I still like to do marketing and sales, and had analytical skills. So I looked at what I could do with that, and I always had an interest in real estate and architecture, and was living in the city, and said to myself, why not? I can do this, and yada yada yada. Years later, I'm still here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about the marketplace. One of the things that I've kind of teased up throughout the show is the luxury market, and I know that you do a lot of work with development and developers in the city. And Heather and I were just talking. Like we want to know who's buying luxury and what are those buyers? What are the buyers looking for?
Yeah, so the luxury market really reflects what's happening in the city. There's great change going on. So we're seeing, obviously, people coming in from the suburbs, the kids get grown and they sell the house and they move in. But a huge market of international people. For years and years, Boston didn't have the inventory, the type of property that would attract international buyers. They came here to school. For the most part, they left. What we're seeing now is that we have the type of product that appeals to an international buyer. So they're coming here. They're coming here to invest. They're coming here because it's a second home. They're coming here because they have children who might have went to school here and who are still here. International buyers love Boston.
So let's talk about that inventory, because so are you talking maybe the beautiful brownstones in the South End that wasn't appealing, but now that we've got these Millennium Towers that are high and luxury, super luxury, is that what those buyers are looking for?
That's true. Okay. That's exactly the case. So I've had many international buyers come in, and I work in the Back Bay. So Back Bay is ground zero for people coming into the city. They always come to the Back Bay first, and sometimes they move to different neighborhoods and even out of the city. But they would come in, and I would take them out into these beautiful brownstones with all the dark wood.
Beacon Hill.
Beacon Hill.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. But the floors aren't even, and the windows don't shut, and there's creaking. And that doesn't...
Paul Revere went by this house. Like, what do you care? Right? I mean,
yeah, a lot of people, picture themselves in smoking jackets with a brandy snifter. But for international buyers, it doesn't play. So there wasn't a lot of appeal for these buildings and these properties. The towers, even floors, doorman, garage parking, higher ceilings, and brands that they're familiar with, luxury brands, that has a great appeal to these people.